Cześć, ja jestem Juno, a to kolejny odcinek z serii Zagrajmy Blair Witch Volume 2, jak ktoś woli, Legenda Coffin Rock. Wracamy z filmikiem tym razem. Jak widzę, troszeczkę więcej dowiemy się o naszym głównym bohaterze, Lazarusie.
October 23rd, 1863. Dearest Anne, my orders finally came in after sitting in that damnable hospital in Washington, D.C. ever since Gettysburg. They're sending me to a supply unit in central Maryland, where I expect to see mercifully little fighting.
Tak, jakby jakiekolwiek walki były miłosierne, co?
It will be a nice change of pace overseeing supplies of shoes and uniforms after all the fighting I've seen this year. My new commanding officer is a Major Thomas Belling, who is reported to be a very good man. The countryside here is beautiful, though the leaves have already fallen from the trees in anticipation of a long, harsh winter. I've stopped near a local farm to take in the brisk autumn air and write this entry. I intend to keep this journal during my stay here and send it off to you when I have filled it. At the rate I've been writing in it, I suspect I will be sending it off to you very soon. I miss you terribly and cannot wait for this savage war to end so that I can return and finally marry you as I promised so long ago.
Ale chwila, to jest ta farma, a czy nasza staruszka wybawicielka nie kojarzy przypadkiem go zupełnie? No w sumie pewnie, on wygląda obecnie jak zombie. Ale no przecież powinna go zapamiętać. Dobra, tam ktoś z bronią biegał. I ja się zaczynam obawiać, że... O cholera! Że czeka mnie strzelanie. Dobra, więc wolę właśnie chyba tu z bronią na wierzchu biegać. Nie wiem, niczego tu nie ma, nikogo tam. Tu też nie. A to dziwne. Gdzie tam ktoś uciekał? Nie wiem w sumie gdzie biec. Tutaj? Ojej, ptaszyska jakieś wyleciały. Coś się dzieje, coś się dzieje, coś się dzieje w ogóle? Nie. To ojej, ktoś tu jest. Auć, sterowanie tu wygląda dziwnie. Nawet bardzo. Ktoś jeszcze tu drepcze. Nie wiem czy ktoś... Tu. Strzelaj! Wow, ale mi amunicji poszło na nich. Strasznie dużo, dobra. Ciekawe, czy oni coś mają przy sobie. Tak, więc warto tu ciała przeszukiwać. O, fotografia jakaś. Zobaczmy, co to. No cóż, ciekawie. Nie wiem, czy ktoś tu jeszcze może być. Nie, drzwi zamknięte. Tutaj amunicji też nie widzę. Dobrze, może zapiszemy, skoro tak beznadziejnie mi idzie i może iść jeszcze gorzej. Nie chciałam tego. Dobra, wybiegnijmy stąd. Może z bronią na wierzchu lepiej będzie? Jest tu ktoś, czy nie? Brakuje mi w sumie bardziej tego automatycznego celowania. Tak, jest tam ktoś. O nie, przeładowanie! Strzelaj, strzelaj! Ale zmarnowałam tej amunicji.
He must have been trying to steal food. Had better report this in town.
Dobry pomysł, chyba. czyli zaczyna odzyskiwać pamięć.
Lazarus, are you all right? Are you okay? Looked like you were in a different world just now.
I was remembering something. I could remember being a soldier. I remember... I don't know. It's all so fuzzy.
Maybe you should come in and lie down for a minute.
Thank you. I think I'll be fine now. I want to get going as soon as possible and find your granddaughter. I don't know why, but somehow I think she's the key to recovering my memory.
There's a young fellow in town named Peter Durant. He runs the Burkittsville Historical Society, and he can tell you anything you need to know about the local area. It's at the edge of town. If you follow the road from the farm, you'll pass right by it. But that's also where the search party's meeting. I think you should stay away from them.
If they're looking for Robin, why shouldn't I just go with them?
I told you. Those men, their hearts are in the right place, but they're heading to their deaths. I don't know why, but I feel it right down to my bones. You mind what I'm saying. If you go with those men, you'll be going to meet your death too.
All right. I can move faster on my own anyway. I'll start with this Peter Durant character. Anything else you want to tell me?
I made you some victuals, but I think it's better if you just take them with you. I'll go get them, and then you need to get going.
Obstawiam, że ta żywność będzie lecznicza. No ale dobra, jaka by nie była, to ja wolę sobie zapisać. Dobra, chodźmy za nią pod to jedzonko i jak rozumiem przez las pewnie trzeba będzie do tego miasta wyruszyć. Czy w sumie nie mam pomysłu jeszcze co, ani jak. Dobra, babciulku, szybciej może co? A, ja mogę szybciej, ale ona się i tak wlecze, czyli co, muszę na nią czekać? Muszę grzecznie... Chyba tak, ona nie przyspieszy. No cóż, jak trzeba, to trzeba. Dla wyższej jakiejś tej... Chodźże szybciej. No tak, tacy ludzie na wszystko mają czas, wszędzie zdążą, a ja już naprawdę, znaczy, no dobra, nie powiem, że mi się do lasu spieszy, ale no, chciałabym już grać konkretniej. Co? Mam gadać?
You can eat it on the way to town. Godspeed to you, Lazarus. I'll pray that you find my Robin and bring her back to me safely.
I'll do whatever I can to make sure that she's returned to you.
No tak, dobrze by było, żeby się to udało. Jak rozumiem, tu mam iść. To chodźmy, bo co by tu innego robić? Czyli co? Przez las, tak jak mówiłam. Ach, no cóż. Może nie ma się czego bać. Ojej, filmik znowu? Dużo ich tutaj, chyba że nie wiem. Wow, przez jakieś pola, nie pola. No spoko. Coś ja słyszę upiornego. O nie, demoniczny pies. Dobra, to ja może najpierw zapiszę, bo zupełnie niepewnie się czuję, jeśli chodzi tu o sterowanie i w zasadzie wszystko. Dobra, spróbujmy wyjąć broń. O rany. Nie podoba mi się, że to sterowanie jest takie no z celowaniem, że tak powiem. I celownik zgubiłam. Pięknie. Dobra. Tak? Czemu ten pies jakoś... Hello, piesku. Dobra, padł. Nie podoba mi się to wszystko, powiem tak, ale jest tu laleczka. Nie wiem. Dziwnie to jest zrobione, że w sumie... Wow! Nie. Uciekamy. Czemu on... Wyjmij broń. Odbiegnij od tego demonicznego... Cholera. No, naprawdę będę tak beznadziejnie grać. Pies mnie goni. Tak, no odwróć się. Czemu on się... No, zastrzel go. Rany. Jak ja beznadziejnie gram. I co, jeszcze jeden? O nie. Jest jeszcze jeden. Dobra, widzę celownik. Chociaż pocieszające jest to, że im bliżej jestem, tym jakoś w zasadzie, to sterowanie jakoś jakby samo zaskakuje i on zaczyna wtedy automatycznie celować. No, dziwny to system tutaj jest. Dobra, idziemy przed siebie i chyba doszliśmy gdzieś do jakiejś cywilizacji po tych polach. Grupka ludzi, czy przypadkiem... O, a tu coś leży? Nic, co mogę podnieść. Czy to są osobnicy, z którymi miałam nie gadać?
This him?
Afternoon. You the gentleman staying out at the Weaver place? I'm Peter Durant. We heard you might be coming to town. You feeling better?
Much better. Thanks.
So this is the man everyone's been talking about. I figure he might be a good place to start, being a stranger and all.
Gentlemen, let's be a little more accommodating. This man is a guest of Mrs. Weaver, and we should show him the same respect that she does.
Well, maybe it'd be a good idea for Mr. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I didn't mention it, but you can call me Lazarus.
Well, as I was saying, maybe it'd be a good idea for Mr. Lazarus to join us in the search. We know these woods better than anybody, and there's no sense having two people lost out there.
Yeah, we'll know right where you are when we have to come find you.
I appreciate your concern, gentlemen. I didn't have anything to do with Robin's disappearance, and I want to find her just as much as you do. I made Mrs. Weaver a promise that I would. Thanks for the offer, but I'm going to look for her by myself.
Mr. Lazarus, I'm Parson Vance. I take care of the spiritual needs of this town. When all this unpleasantness is over, I'd like to meet with you and tell you about our church.
Na samą wzmiankę o kościele mi też
You don't
się
look so
najlepiej
good,
nie
mister.
robi.
Why don't you come in and sit down? You boys go ahead and start the search. I'll take care of Mr. Lazarus and send him along when he's ready.
All right, Peter. Come on, boys. I want to get out there before dark. I don't want that poor little girl to have to spend another night out there.
Listen, friend, don't mind what the men are saying. Tensions are running a little high around here since Robin disappeared. And there's always been talk of the woods being haunted. Robin disappearing just brought all those legends back to the surface. There's even a legend about a witch out there. But even a silly superstition can add fuel to the fire. Oh my. You don't look so good.
I'll be fine. I just need a minute.
Znowu
A
pewnie...
minute to...
No właśnie.
October 24th, 1863. Dearest Anne, I encountered a rebel forager yesterday, which was quite a shock being so far behind the banks of the Potomac. I'm sorry to say that the man opened fire upon me, and it was my duty to kill him. I have arrived in the town of Burkittsville, Maryland, which is where my company is currently quartered. I have not yet met my new commanding officer, as he is a busy man, but I am waiting to report to him now, which has given me a moment to jot down these words.
Come in, Lieutenant.
Podoba mi się w sumie, że on opowiada nam co nieco tak właśnie jakby w formie listu do ukochanej. Ciekawy to tworzy klimat. O nie, sporo kul dostałam, co pewnie oznacza potem sporo strzelania.
Lieutenant Robert McNichol, reporting as ordered, sir.
Sit down, soldier. I understand you ran across a Confederate soldier yesterday outside of town.
Yes, sir. He was foraging for food.
Yes, I've gotten quite a few reports of rebel foragers from farms all over the county. The enemy sends in small teams like this from time to time to find food and supplies and disrupt our communications whenever possible. I believe there's a small unit of maybe 8 to 10 men operating out of the woods, not far from town. That way they can conceal their movement and gather up the supplies they've been stealing before heading back for Virginia.
If you know where they are, why don't you just send a unit in after them?
That's why I need you, Lieutenant. Now, I'm sorry to have to do this to you so soon after your arrival, but you're the only combat-experienced officer I have right now, and we've got to put an end to these raids.
With all respect, sir, I was hoping to get a break from combat out here. My unit was wiped out at Gettysburg, and
I'm well aware of your record, Lieutenant. Listen, I get all kinds of troops assigned here, from down-home farm boys who don't know which end of a rifle to point at the enemy, to men who've seen way too much of the horror of war, like yourself. But I have to do the best I can with what I've got. Washington just can't afford to send any troops out here to track down a single rebel foraging unit, so we have to take care of them ourselves. And you're the only officer I have right now who isn't a green volunteer or useless at commanding men.
I know, sir, but
But nothing. I've seen your record, and you know how to lead men. Right now, I need a man like you, and I am giving you a direct order to take a small group and find those rebels. Now, Lieutenant, are you going to refuse this order?
No, sir. You can count on me. When do I leave?
Immediately. I've taken the liberty of selecting some men for you. They're waiting for you outside.
Świetnie, już nie mogę się doczekać.
They're good men, Lieutenant. 2 of them combat veterans, and a 3rd local man who's been stationed here about a year. Mosley's his name, and he should be able to tell you a bit about the local terrain. Your orders are to take your men and head toward the forest along the main road, crossing in when you meet Tappy Creek East.
No dobra, no, trzeba będzie się z tym uporać.
Find the rebels, report their strength, and avoid direct engagements if you're outnumbered. Otherwise, use your own discretion in confronting and eliminating any raiders you encounter. Any questions, Lieutenant?
Bo ja wiem.
Can you tell me about my men, sir?
Corporal William Newhouse is the ranking enlisted man, and the one with the greatest experience. He's a good shot, and an accomplished woodsman from Wisconsin. His unit was decimated at Chickamauga a few weeks back, so he hasn't been here long. Private Moore is a veteran of Gettysburg, like you, but he was with an artillery battery that arrived the last day of the battle and didn't see much action. His unit was transferred a few weeks ago to fight out west with Grant, but somehow he got himself transferred here. He's got an uncanny sense of self-preservation that might come in handy. The final man, Mosley, as I said, has been stationed here for about a year. No combat record, but he knows the local area and should be able to help you get to know the lay of the land.
No dobrze wiedzieć. O, widzę, że ktoś zaginiony tu jest. Mogę to zobaczyć? Bardzo urodziwy jegomość. Dobra, ja może tu dla bezpieczeństwa po raz kolejny zapiszę. A tam coś ciekawego może mamy? Nie chyba. No dobra. Jak nie, to nie. Idziemy na zewnątrz. O. No dobra, powiedzmy, że idziemy, jak mi się uda. Jej, ale ja jestem kiepska w sterowaniu w takich grach. O, mamy chyba nasz oddział, czyli pewnie kolejne rozmówki nas czekają.
You the new lieutenant they assigned us?
I'm Lieutenant McNichol of Syracuse, New York. I've been assigned as your commanding officer.
I'm Private Mosley, sir. I'm originally from Rockville, but I was assigned here.
I'm Private Moore, sir, but you can call me Skunk. They call me that because I can sniff out trouble from a mile away.
I always thought it was because you stink.
And you are?
Corporal Newhouse. I was with the 15th Wisconsin at Chickamauga a few weeks back. And they pulled those of us who survived that battle back here. Born in Ohio. Moved to Wisconsin to try my hand at mining.
And where are you from, Private Moore?
I'm from Pennsylvania, sir. Philadelphia.
Well, gentlemen, it seems that a band of rebels are operating out of the woods nearby, and they need us to root them out. Our orders are to track them down and capture them if we can. Or shoot them if we can't. Gather up your field kits and meet back here in 1 hour to move out. Private Moore?
Call me Skunk, sir.
Private Skunk, see if you can arrange for us to acquire some dried beef and fresh vegetables to take with us. I don't intend on eating beans and hard bread tonight.
Yes, sir. I'll see what I can do.
Mr. Lazarus, are you okay? Are you okay? Thought I was gonna lose you for a moment there.
I'm sorry. I think I was just caught up in a memory.
Well, like I was telling you, the townsfolk of Burkittsville are prone to getting caught up in the hysteria of the local legends. Now, what's your involvement with the Weavers, if you don't mind my asking?
Mrs. Weaver took me in. I was hurt and I needed help. She asked me to find Robin in return. She seems to think I'm the only one that can find her. Curious woman, that Mrs. Weaver. She's convinced that the search party is doomed. She put the fear of God in me.
Yeah, she has that effect on people. Her whole family seems to be aware of things the rest of us aren't. Even little Robin seems to have some sort of unnatural affinity for those woods. Her son was like that too, before he died, and they say her mother was even more attuned to the spirits, but I didn't know her. Died in childbirth, I believe. I think they're just folks who are good at telling stories and amusing people around the campfire.
Where do you think the little girl is?
That girl is a bit rambunctious, and no doubt she's having a grand adventure out there.
On ma raczej takie luźne do tego podejście. Możemy go jeszcze wziąć, że tak powiem, na spytki?
Has she disappeared before?
Never for this long, but she's run off into the woods before, that's for sure. She's even claimed to have talked with Miss Kedward.
Kedward?
The infamous Wood Witch of Blair. And people say she haunts those woods, talking to them in a mysterious voice and appearing as a ghostly apparition of an old woman. People around here believe she prowls the woods, stealing little girls. They even say her ghostly arm rose up from Tappy Creek East and snatched a little girl named Eileen Trickle back in 1824. Most likely it was just careless parents not watching their child closely enough. Some say her mother's ghost still haunts the woods looking for the little girl, while others say it's the witch looking for more victims. If I were you, I'd go back to the farm and wait for the search party to bring her back.
I gave Mrs. Weaver my word. Besides, I just can't seem to get that girl out of my head. It's like I can feel her inside of me.
She's got an infectious personality, I'll give her that. She has that effect on a lot of people around here. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't much believe all this supernatural sleight of hand, but there is something. If you've your mind set on finding her, I'll help you in any way I can.
To miłe, więc może jeszcze mi coś pan powie?
What else can you tell me about the woods?
There's quite a few legends in this area. People say the ghosts of Indians and Hessians haunt the forest, looking to take lost souls. There are also the legends of the Snally Gaster, a hideous beast that's been seen from time to time, usually around the same night of a local party or wedding. And people tend to see ghosts and goblins more easily after a night of hard drinking and storytelling. No one seems to be able to agree on exactly what this beast looks like. Then there's the usual stories of ghostly soldiers from the Civil War, but those are just stories. I don't think any of these stories are true, but they sure make for good tales.
Tak, tylko opowieści. Jeszcze coś? Wow, a co to jest? Aha. Co ja mam? Dobra, fajnie, na pewno coś z tego przeczytam. Nie wiem, czy on coś jeszcze może mówić.
Where do you think is the best place to start looking for Robin?
Well, I'd start by following the main road, back out toward where the old railroad ran through here. That's the quickest path to the woods. Then I'd follow the creek. No doubt she's near the creek skipping stones or making mud pies.
That's what
I
I'm
think I've
good.
held you up long enough. If you are going to search for Robin, you should get a move on before nightfall.
Yeah, you're right. No sense in wasting daylight. Any last words of advice or help you can give me?
I can give you this. It's an old native handicraft. It's supposed to ward off evil spirits. You're also free to look through any of my books if you think it might help.
No to dawaj, co miałeś dać.
Take care of yourself, Lazarus. I hope you can bring Robin back safe.
Tak, ja też, tylko czy on mi coś dał w końcu? Co to jest? Nieważne. Dobra, myślę, że to jest świetny moment na koniec odcinka, więc dzięki za oglądanie, trzymajcie się, cześć!